is Wednesday, August 27th, 2025. Can I have a motion to open the meeting?
Motion to open the meeting?
Second.
So the board will convene. All in favor?
You have to raise your hand too.
The board will convene for its executive session. Do I read this first or ask for a motion? Read it first, correct. The Hendrick Hudson School District Board of Education will convene for the purpose of collective negotiations under the Taylor Law, medical, financial, credit, or employment history of a particular person or corporation, or matters leading to the appointment or employment history of a particular person or corporation, or matters leading to the appointment or employment or promotion or demotion or discipline or suspension or removal of a particular person or corporation. Can I have a motion to move to executive session?
Motion to move into executive session?
Second.
All in favor? Welcome back for the Hendrick Hudson Board of Education meeting. Can we all rise for the pledge?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First, can I ask for a motion to approve the the agenda as stated?
Motion to approve the agenda as stated?
Second.
All in favor?
Is this your fault?
I'd like to make a motion to pull policy 7212, that is 9.7 on the agenda.
Second. All in favor?
So I'll provide some I'll provide some context on that. So during the approval of the agenda, it's traditional if anybody has adds or subtractions to the agenda to make that motion there. The board has motioned to remove policy 7212 for its second reading under my advisement because there's we wanted to add some information to that after having a chance to review it. We also know that in about a month we have Ms. Scollins and Mr. Moreno will be doing a board presentation and report on our MTSS plan and our actual carrying out of that, so what our students and staff do. So we wanted to make sure if there's any changes that the board thought they should make to the actual policy based upon that presentation, it would make sense to do that as well. And also, there's a syntax update we would like to make to it's as stands right now with our policy service. The number is a 7000 series, which is facilities development. We'll make that update too and recommend that it goes into the student policy 4000s. So that's the purpose behind the recommendation to pull that and to table the approval of the second, conducting the second reading and subsequent possible approval of the policy.
Okay, so let's move on to the audience comments on non-agenda items. Do we have anybody here to speak tonight? So we move on to the consent agenda. Does anybody have anything they want to pull from the consent agenda? Okay, can I ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor? Okay. We do have one item that was removed from the consent agenda, which is 5.1 donations for the Welcome Back to School banners for the 3 elementary schools. So Beyond the Bell Company has donated 3 Welcome Back to School banners for the elementary schools, and the total cost of the donation is approximately $210. So I would like to thank Beyond the Bell for donating those banners. Can we get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you to Beyond the Bell.
Yes, thank you.
Do we have any audience comments on agenda items? All right, so I turn it back over to our superintendent for his update.
Thank you. We will do an abbreviated update. As you know, this evening is our building tours. I will start with that. So under New York State regulations governing comprehensive public school safety program and universal code of public school building inspections, our Board of Education is required to monitor the safety and condition of all occupied school buildings through visual inspections and establish safety procedures. Tonight, The Board of Education, Mr. Merlini, building head custodians, building principals, and members of our cabinet. And I will address that mandate as we tour each school building. We will walk through looking at a few instructional spaces, some areas that the principals have seen some great positive work, or there's going to be a special program there, and also perhaps some areas that need some finishing touches before we welcome students back, and the plan to address those areas. So we'll do that this evening. The tour schedule, at 6:45, we will tour and walk through the Hendrick Hudson High School. At 7:30, we will visit Blue Mountain Middle School. At 8:15, we will be at Furnace Woods Elementary School. 9 o'clock, we will transition to Buchanan Verplank Elementary School, and then we will end our evening at 9:45 at Frank G. Lindsay School. So this is a portion of the board's work that we do welcome the public to attend. Due to the fluid nature of the visits, if our public would like to check on the status of where the board is in its tour process, please feel free to call my cell phone at 914-879-6001 to check to see where the board might be in its travels, because maybe they're running ahead of schedule, maybe they're running behind schedule, and if a member of the public wants to join at a particular building, we want to make sure they know where we are. Additionally, if a tour at a particular building finishes ahead of schedule, a member of our cabinet or I will remain at that building till the announced time to make sure that if a member of the public does come up, they can be brought up to speed as to what was addressed. So that will occur immediately after our public session of this meeting. Today was a very special day. If you hadn't heard, today was our first day of staff members for the 2025-2026 school year, and it was a pleasure to welcome back our staff in anticipation of having Chloe and her colleagues join us next week. So this morning we held our convocation for all employees. I'm appreciative of the board representation at our convocation early this morning. Well, Silverman, you had your own welcome back to address. We did have Ms. Dietrich gave opening remarks. We did also have in attendance Ms. Boudin, Ms. Huben, Ms. Mills, and Ms. Stanko. So thank you for attending. Ms. Scollins served as Master of Ceremonies for the event, keeping us all on track, and actually got us out ahead of schedule. And following the convocation, there was union meetings. Their initial faculty meetings were conducted. Teachers had the opportunity to complete mandated training, review IEPs, and set up their classrooms. So a lot of work being done already. Tomorrow, we will have teacher-led professional learning sessions in place, grade level and department meetings, and additional classroom preparation time, all in an effort to ensure a smooth startup of the school year. During my rounds today, I observed dedicated professionals hard at work preparing to welcome our students back and further enhance their instructional practice. So we are already off and running in the 2025-2026 school year. So with that in mind, as I said, it was inspiring to see our colleagues welcoming back students. Speaking of which, we are just a few days away from the first day of school for our students. It's an exciting time as we welcome back our wonderful student body on September 2nd. The first day will be a half day as a reminder for K-5 students and a full day for students in grades 6 through 12. Principals have, of course, already sent out communications regarding building-specific details. Transportation routes have been populated, and orientations have been taking place to ensure a smooth start. So I always say this, but truly this is the most wonderful time of the year because we exist for the purpose of working with and supporting our students, and we get to finally see them after a long summer recess, although some people might not think it was very long. It was, and we get to welcome them back and launch another year of learning, growth, and community togetherness. Shifting gears a little bit, I'm not sure if everyone is aware of some events that may have that have transpired in Minneapolis. I lived in Minnesota for a number of years, and while we do have some details still emerging, there was a tragic incident reported today in Minneapolis. It appears that another act of violence has taken place in a school setting. As superintendent and just as a human, my thoughts are with all those who are impacted. And schools must often address the ripple effects to challenges that our larger society struggles with or has not yet found ways to resolve, such as violence. And when these acts of violence occur, even at a distance, the impact we know is felt by students, families, and staff. Children often bring with them the emotions, questions, and anxieties that arise from events outside our classrooms, and schools become a place where those feelings must be acknowledged, supported, and cared for. So we recognize that news of such events can be unsettling. If any of our students feel concerned, scared, or otherwise affected by this news, I encourage them to reach out to a trusted adult in our schools, such as a counselor or a member of our mental health team. We also recognize that families and staff may need to reach out to us if they themselves need support, or if they notice a child who is struggling, so we can ensure that they receive the care and support that they need. Just a few other quick reminders. This is a reminder that starting September 2nd, students will not be permitted to use personal internet-connected devices, including cell phones, during the school day. This change, as you probably heard me say, is in alignment with the new state law and a recently adopted Board of Education policy. And the purpose behind this, as stated, is to help students remain fully present and engaged in learning. We ask that elementary students not bring such devices to school, and that secondary students who do bring such devices to school should keep them securely stored in their lockers throughout the school day. Individual schools have and will continue to provide specific details and guidance to students and families through newsletters, welcome back events, and ongoing communication. An update since we last met: we did meet as an entire administrative team. We reviewed the policy as adopted. We gave our educators time to work in their departments or buildings to see if they had any concerns or had any questions, and plan out how to implement that policy in their actual building. So that time was taken there, and we went through some clarification on components of the regulation, such as sanctions if there is violation of that. So we had some time to flesh through that. And also, Ms. Scollins, Ms. Martino Alves, and I did meet with members of the student government and listened to their thoughts and their concerns about that, and their insights were thoughtful. And also, they understood the purpose behind it, and I think it was a good conversation to start the transition here. Again, as another reminder of a change coming to the high school, this fall, Hendrick Hudson High School will join our K-8 schools in joining the National School Lunch Program, which provides universal free meals to all students for the next school year. This is an exciting opportunity to ensure that every student has access to healthy and nutritious food, helping them to arrive at school ready to focus, learn, and thrive. No application is needed for this year. However, at a later date, we may send out that application that has been sent in the past to collect data related to eligibility for free and reduced lunch prices, because that information helps guide access to additional funding supports and opportunities that benefit our students and programs. So again, for this year, there is no application required on behalf of any family to access those free meals, but you may see something similar to what has been sent out in the past as an application to help us just gather data on, to help us apply for additional funding opportunities. So we're excited to offer the free lunch and breakfast for all students to start each day fueled for success. And that is the update at this time. There are no questions requiring follow-up, and we already addressed one of the policy items before you go through that review. So thank you for the opportunity to update you.
Okay, now we have the cabinet update.
I have asked the cabinet to provide a more detailed update at a later date or through their weekly report, because we did just, in an effort to save time and with previous updates.
Thank you. So now we are up to our policy readings. So we have a bunch of second readings tonight. So we are going to start with policy 1900, second reading of policy 1900, parent and family engagement. The Board of Education believes that positive
Motion to
parent...
waive the reading?
All in favor?
You want me to read them?
Aye. Okay. This one again, we just talked about last time. A lot of these not the last meeting we had on the 19th, but the one previously from the week before that, we had talked about all of these policies, and this was the one that we updated on all of those ways that we can engage families in the school. Anybody have any questions or concerns? Can I ask for a motion to approve policy 1900, parent and family engagement?
Motion?
All in favor? Okay, so that brings us to policy 2210, board organizational meeting. The Board of Education recognizes...
Motion to waive the reading?
All in favor? So again, we made a lot of changes just to make it very specific to what that reorganizational meeting looks like on the first meeting for the new board. Did anybody have any comments comments or questions on it? Can I ask for a motion to approve policy 2210, board organizational meeting?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor? So then that brings us to the second reading of policy 4750, promotion and retention of students. The Board of Education is dedicated to the total and continuous development of each student enrolled.
Motion to waive the reading.
Second.
All in favor? And again, this went from a very short policy to a more detailed policy of when students would be promoted to the next grade or if students needed to be held back. I don't know if that's the, or retained? Retained, which we don't go for unless
There
at
is
the beginning.
There is a lengthy process
lengthy process,
determined
yes.
that has input from a number of groups and an opportunity for data being presented.
Anybody have any questions or comments on 4750? Can I ask for a motion to approve policy 4750, promotion and retention of students?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, so that brings us to policy 5500 on student records. The Board of Education recognizes.
Motion to waive the reading.
Second.
All in favor? And again, it just talks about how student records are kept and how they are shared if need be. Again, got a little more specific. Does anybody have any questions or comments on policy 5500, student records? Can I ask for a motion to approve policy 5500, student records?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Which brings us to the second reading of policy 4821, school ceremonies and observances. The Board of Education recognizes the values.
Motion to waive the reading.
Second.
All in favor? This was a new policy. Just when we have ceremonies within our schools. Anybody have any questions or comments? We have a motion to approve policy 4821, school ceremonies and observances.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, we are moving on to policy 7133, admission of international students. The board recognizes.
Motion to waive the reading.
Second.
All in favor? Again, this is a new policy that we were bringing forth.
The admission of international students is a
It's
71.
7130.
Okay.
It should be a.
We should,
Is that what I said or not?
We should hold it.
We should table that.
We should table
Yeah,
that?
because that's not, it's supposed
It's
to be
not
in
on
force, right?
So can I get a motion to table policy 7133, admission of international students?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Okay,
So for context, what probably occurs is when we reach out for a policy boiler, a plate or a template, they come from a service that often may not match our policy book numbering, policy manual numbering, so that will be a syntax fix.
Okay, and we also tabled policy 7212, which brings us to the last one, policy 9115, staff use of personal electronic communication devices. The Board of Education recognizes
Motion to
that.
waive the reading.
Second.
All in favor? So this just goes through staff use of personal devices, where they should be during the day and when they are allowed to use them. Anybody have any questions or comments on policy 9115? Can I ask for a motion to approve policy 9115, staff use of personal electronic communication devices?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. So at this time, I'd like to ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
We're not adjourning. We don't adjourn until the end.
Okay, so then I'd like to ask that we move on
So we move on to our building tours.
to the building tours.
Motion.
Second.
No, we don't need a motion, we're just gonna move right into it.
Be part of our meeting.
None motion.
None.
No motion.
I can, while we transition, I can read again the schedule.
Yeah.
If you want me to, so. What's that? No one's online?
You just read
Not
it.
even my
So
son?
Let's give them another.
So again, 6:45, we will start here at the Hendrick Hudson High School, 7:30 Blue Mountain, 8:15 Furnace Woods, 9 PM Buchanan Verplank, 9:45 Frank G. Lindsay. If you'd like to check in and join us and want to make sure you know where we are, feel free to call my cell phone, 914-879-6001.